Okay, welcome back to the show. And today I'm joined by Miss Melina. How are you doing today, Miss?
Hey, Maurice, thank you so much for having me on your show today. I'm really looking forward to the North London Derby on the weekend, and more importantly, my nightmare of a fantasy football team selection this week.
Yeah, we're gonna kick into the fantasy football in a minute, but first you want to talk about yourself and your YouTube channel and how you started following Arsenal, for example.
Sure. So I have a YouTube channel predominantly based on Arsenal post-match reactions in a tactical way, and also I do fantasy Premier League content. I'm really passionate on the tactical side of football, and I know Arsenal are in the mud right now and not doing as well as I want them to. But I became an Arsenal fan as a young age. My grandpa and my father are Arsenal fans, and since I was a kid, watching the likes of Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, and Tony Adams, really, it was our glory days. And unfortunately, we've
Same.
gone from invincible to invisible. But we'll be back soon. We'll be back stronger than ever before, I hope. Hopefully, back in Champions League. But first, we need to make our way back into Europe. But no, I've always been an Arsenal fan. In Spain, I support Real Madrid, so that's like something different in a different league. Thankfully, I've seen them win multiple Champions League trophies, so I'm not missing out there. But I
Yeah.
really enjoy doing YouTube. It's more of a passion for myself and sharing my opinions as an international fan. Not, I've never been to an Arsenal game, but I have visited the stadiums off season. So hopefully next season I can go to a game when we're in a better position as a club.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to go to a good few. I've been to 8 games in total, but I live a lot closer than you do. Like from a flight from
Yeah.
Dublin to London is only, I think, 1 hour, you know?
Oh wow. Yeah.
So I've been to see Arsenal play 8 times and they've won zero of the games that I've
Oh
been to.
no.
Yeah, because I went to Man City, I think 3 times. I went to the North London Derby about 4 years ago. It was a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
I went to the League Cup final when Man City smashed us 3-0, and
Oh
the
no.
the only tickets I could get was in the Man City end, so I was in my jacket was zipped up, and I was just like, and then it started snowing. It was a very bad day. But
Oh
then
no.
but then 2 years ago, Arsenal came to Dublin to play Chelsea in a friendly. I don't know if you remember that game. It
Yes, I
was
remember that game.
so technically they won on penalties, but realistically it was a 1-all draw in the match.
Penalties, of course, whenever we win on penalties, it's always, oh, it doesn't count. You beat us on jammy penalties. But whenever another team does it, it's like, all right, we won the game. But
Yeah, I guess the match officially goes down as a draw, so my wait to see Arsenal win goes on.
yeah.
So even if you do make it over, you can't be as unlucky as I've been.
uh,
Right, we'll start talking about fantasy football, I think, first. And when did you start playing it and what do you enjoy about it?
So I started playing Fantasy Premier League last season, and last season it was more getting to know when to use your chips, how to use your chips, and learning how to play the game. I ended up finishing in 700,000 rank overall across the world. I was top in some of my mini leagues, and I'm a really competitive person. So being in some mini leagues with friends and family, I wanted bragging rights, and unfortunately, I didn't really know when to use the chips at the right timing. Ben Krellin, shout out to him, the FPL god. His tables really helped to show the double game weeks or triple game weeks and really showed when to use those chips. But last season, I kind of used my chips too late or too early on. I took a lot of hits right, left, and center with -8, -12 so comfortably that it really hurt my rank. I ended up finishing in 700K. I was at 1 million around the start, and I just kept being consistent. I know a lot of casual FPL managers, they give up real quick, but I said, you know what, I'm going to stick to this. And next season, hopefully, I can improve on my mistakes. And right now, I know hold on to your chips for the life of you and wait till there's a double game week or even a triple game week if that was to happen ever again. So now I got a better understanding of it, and it's more for bragging rights and trying to win my mini leagues that I'm in. But I really enjoy playing it because I like the tactical side of football. So I want to see who's going to give me the best rate of returns, who's going to keep a clean sheet. And it brings a new side of football. And I know, although Arsenal aren't doing well, I don't really have any Arsenal players in my FPL right now. But that being said, we don't have that bad of fixtures after the North London Derby. So that might be something for me to revisit overall.
I always play my wild card after the first game.
Yeah,
every
that's
season.
crazy. So you avoid price rises that way too, right?
Yeah,
You're not really you're getting the Lukaku's, the premiums, Ronaldo, Harry Kane really early on, which is smart. I've always kept the wild card till the last minute, but this season I played it in game week 4 or game week 5. I played it in game week 4 and it was okay, just above average, but that was the same game week Antonio got that red card in the 92nd minute or so
yeah.
and just ruined everything for us.
I think that there's just no way that you can't have Ronaldo in this team this
For
season.
sure.
It's been a game changer. I thought Lukaku would be the big game changer this season. I still think he'd get a lot of goals, but for me I had to take. I took Bruno Fernandes out, someone that I never thought I'd take out of my fantasy team.
Same. I did the exact same thing.
If I was going to have one Man United player, you'd think it'd be Bruno, but now it's got to be Ronaldo if he's going to be
Also
playing.
because of penalties, right? So
Yeah.
we would think, Bruno would still take the penalties, but thinking more logically, it's more nailed on, CR7 taking it. And CR7's been starting consistently, getting a lot of game time and getting that goals that we need. And I think in this season, he's going to be a top goal scorer alongside the likes of Lukaku as well.
Yeah, I think, well, actually, I know for a fact that Cristiano Ronaldo has already scored more goals for Man United than Alexis Sanchez has.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That was a very bad piece of business. I think it was one of the worst transfers I think I've ever seen. Even with Mkhitaryan coming to us, just didn't work out either.
No, it didn't work out for us.
Yeah. Right, we're going to take a look at your team going into this week. And if you want to talk me through why you have certain players and your thoughts behind it.
No problem. So my team going this week, I've kept Sanchez in goal. Trent is clear for the weekend with Brentford away. Now I've kept Trent in there and I'm going to give Jota a second chance in midfield. A lot of people really switched up on Jota to Sarr, but I had Grealish instead of Sarr and I thought, all right, let me get rid of Grealish. I know they're playing Chelsea. It might be a bad choice to get rid of him now. So I got rid of him for Sarr because Man City's next fixtures are two next fixtures are tough. So I didn't really want to take a chance there. I did have Benny from the start. Benrahma, he's been nailing it for me in terms of assists as well as a goal. Rafinha is a 50-50. Bielsa confirmed in his press conference that it's not 100% confirmed. So if Rafinha does not start, Livramento will be coming off my bench. And I did put Livramento up front first on the bench because they're playing at home. And I think it'll be a Saints advantage there at a home game. I did end up swapping Connor Cody for Rudiger just because of how tasty Chelsea's fixtures look game week 7 onwards. I think it's an essential asset to have the likes of Chelsea and Man City players going on looking ahead long-term into game week 7 onwards. I did still keep Luke Shaw, hoping that Man United will keep that clean sheet so that I can get some clean sheet points. Mohamed Salah versus CR7 Ronaldo is a big captaincy choice debate, as well as Antonio. Now, I know Antonio is coming back from suspension, so I didn't want to take that much of a risk against captaining Antonio, but I'm not 100% nailed on Ronaldo either. Antonio with Leeds' crumbled defense right now. Leeds are really struggling. They don't have Bamford. He's out for a month. And, Antonio is looking like a really good differential captain. A lot of people are being brave enough to go for it. I don't think I have the balls to go for it. So right now it's on CR7. Mohamed Salah, I just haven't captained him because I don't know if it's going to end up in a draw. I think they'll still outperform Brentford, and I think he'll get an assist. But I still think Ronaldo will outperform Salah this game week. I ended up taking a -8. It was the first time I've took minuses, and it was really poor decision of me to make my hits early on, to make my transfers early on before the news came out that Bamford would not play. I didn't expect that to happen, so Bielsa really screwed me over there. I should have waited to do the Connor Cody to Rudiger swap the next game week, so hopefully this doesn't affect my rank too much, but right now I'm sitting in 30,000 overall rank, which is extremely good compared to last season, and hopefully I get a small green arrow, even if it's just a little one. I'll take it.
And it's great to have the Irishman in there on the bench, Shane Duffy, as well.
Yes.
He's been pretty good this year.
He's been doing well in terms of assists and bonus points. He's been getting a lot too.
Yeah, he's a player that went through a lot of turbulence last year. He had a few family problems. He went up
Oh,
to Celtic, and Celtic were in the gutter last year, and Rangers
yeah,
ran
Rangers.
away with the league. So then he suffered at international level. The manager didn't really play him for a few important games. So it's nice to see him coming back.
Getting the game time he needs too, right? Yeah,
Absolutely. If he's playing the Premier League, he's got to be starting for Ireland.
for sure.
I'm going to show you my team now, and I'll guide you through it, and you can see what you think.
Perfect.
So, Allison, that kind of speaks for itself. Now, Brentford are a tough side, but consistently to have Allison in there, I think it'll work. Duffy, simply because of the form at the moment of Brighton. Tomiyasu, now, I have him in because I have a lot of expensive players up at the front there, and I need some cheap defenders. And him with 4.5, and he's making a lot of runs and stuff for Arsenal, and his stats are very good for Arsenal. So I'm hoping that if he does start performing, whilst I don't expect him to keep a clean sheet in this game, maybe down the line some bonus points might come. Manquillo, just another cheap defender because of my heavy forward line. Same with Allen there in midfield for Everton. Don't really expect him to do much. But then, I do have Bruno Fernandes. I thought I got rid of him. It was Harry.
Yeah.
It was Harry Kane. Harry Kane actually for Ronaldo, and I
That's
got rid of
smart because
somebody
Harry
else.
Kane
Yeah,
hasn't done much all season, to be fair.
yeah. It seems that his head is kind of out of the game there at the moment. Mo Salah, Bissouma for Crystal Palace, more of a defensive player, but yet again he could come up with something. And then Ronaldo captain, which I think he's going to be my captain for, I think, every game week this season, to be honest. Lukaku and Antonio. And then the
I love
benches.
that front three with the premiums.
Yeah. I was lucky. I was lucky that I made my changes early, as we talked about. And then the bench, Foster, he actually played a game last week. He's only 4 million for a goalkeeper, but I think their other goalkeeper was injured, so he'll probably be back out of the team this week, sorry. And then Billy Gilmore and Brandon Williams, both on loan from Chelsea and Man United. They're both playing games at Norwich, but they're so poor, both defensively
I
and
feel really
offensively.
sorry for Billy Gilmore, like the way he played at Chelsea,
Yeah,
and coming to a team like Norwich, they're really, really poor. And I think I think they're finished, and I think they're looking ahead to relegation.
yeah. I think it's going to be the same. It was like 2 years ago when they came up. They were
Yes.
gone by Christmas. I think they're gone already.
Oh wow. Yeah.
But they stick by the manager. But I don't know. Can somebody else get better out of those
I
players?
honestly don't think it's only the manager that was the issue. I think as a team, as a unit, they're not coming together. There's no link-up play whatsoever. It's just so woeful.
And they haven't invested either, which you need to do at this level.
Yeah.
They're still coming up with Pookie. Pookie was really good 2 years ago when he came up.
He's the only one carrying their team, basically. And,
Yeah.
you would think Billy Gilmore going from Chelsea to Norwich, he would get some more game time, get some more experience on the ball. But unfortunately, it's not really working out for him. And I think it's kind of hurting him more than it was supposed to help him.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we're gonna look ahead to the North London derby for our beloved Arsenal. So, listen, both teams, Arsenal, a couple of weeks ago, Tottenham were top of the league. Arsenal were bottom of the league. That's changed pretty quickly. So we're not, thankfully, bottom of the league anymore. They've had a couple of poor results. They were actually pretty lucky the other day against Wolves as well, when Wolves came back and Tottenham won on penalties in the League Cup the other night. So
yeah,
their form is a bit questionable. And as we talked about, Harry Kane, his head doesn't seem to be there after all the speculation and stuff that went on this summer. What do you think, firstly, of Tottenham and what's going on there?
First off, I want to say I'm very glad that we did not sign Emerson Royale and we got Takehiro Tomiyasu instead. I think there's a player in Tomiyasu, although it might be way too early to call that whether he's a good player or not. I think he's showing a lot of heart and ambition on the pitch, and a player that looks hungry and wants to be a leader on that pitch, something that we really needed and we lacked. Looking into the Spurs, the only player that really stood out for me was Dele Alli. I think Dele Alli was playing well for them, but that's about it. Harry Kane and Son, the pairing between the two of them isn't really working like it did last season so far. And again, it might be too early to call, but I think, changing the manager wasn't, I don't know if Nuno Ball is working for them. I don't see it. I think they're really struggling, and they even struggled to get a new manager. Antonio Conte wanted to Antonio Conte is the type of manager, if you don't give him what he demands, if you don't give him what he wants in terms of a club, whether it be finances, the management that he wants, he will not touch that job. And that's this kind of same thing we're having at Arsenal Football Club with Arteta. But at least our trophy cabinet is not empty with dust. So we do have something there to stand out from them. But I think we shouldn't underestimate this North London derby, although Spurs have not won against us at home in a very long time. The only thing I'm worried about is whether Arteta will drop his fan favorite Granit Xhaka, who's coming back from suspension, or whether he'll have the balls and the courage to prove us wrong and start Sambi Lokonga.
I think he'll put Granit
I think he'll put Xhaka too. And you know what? I hate to say it, but unfortunately, it looks like, based on his presser, he did say that Xhaka looks like ready to go. And that basically means ready to jump in the starting 11.
Let's talk about Granit Xhaka. Like, how many chances does one player need?
Yeah, to prove themselves, right? And what really lost me, and I guess a lot of fans, was the fact, and I get it, like, fans were abusing his family and stuff, which I understand is not acceptable whatsoever.
Yeah.
But he went on Swiss television and said, like, I said F you to the fans, and I'll say it again if I need to. That's not really a type of player who's a leader on the pitch. And I know we really struggled to sell him. We couldn't even get him out for simple chump change, basically, and getting robbed of money this transfer window. Clubs know that they can bully us into getting the cheapest out of players, and that's the reason why we also failed to sell Hector Bellerin, and we only let him go on a loan. I think Xhaka's time at Arsenal is not there. I don't think he's even interested to play for us. Hopefully he proves us wrong and does well, but I just think of him more as a liability and a squad player, not a starting player. And Sambi Lokonga, 21 years old, I think we're in that stage where we're relying more on the youth, but we also need our senior players to turn up. And by senior players, I'm referring to Aubameyang and Lacazette. Lacazette, the other day, played really well in that Wimbledon game, but then again, it was Wimbledon, a League One side. Yeah. And that game we couldn't even watch. We were watching from some guy holding his phone in the stands. It was that bad for us. That it wasn't even being broadcasted. But Aubameyang hasn't even been firing. Like, he's not the Aubameyang of that season where we won the FA Cup. It just looks like he's out of it. I don't know what's wrong with him, whether it's a purple patch. Hopefully he comes back and bounces back into that starting 11 for the North London derby. But I would prefer to see that pivot of Lokonga and Partey, but it looks like that's too much to ask for. You said, I think Granit Xhaka will walk right into that starting 11 on Sunday.
Just on Aubameyang, I don't think it's a situation like the Mesut Ozil one. I think, like, when Emery was at Arsenal, we were actually entertaining. We were playing good football.
Yes,
albeit we were letting in crazy amount of goals and shots and stuff like that. But after, like, watching Arteta's team for the last year and a half now, I still don't see a style of play.
A style of play, yeah.
And that's very worrying. And I don't know where Aubameyang fits in to not having a style of play, because I just don't know. I don't get it. I still think he's capable of getting 25 goals this year.
But really what's holding him back? Is it the fact that we have no full-on real creativity? Because the whole creativity issue was supposed to be solved with, all right, let's get Odegaard back in the squad. Now, keep in mind, in January, I still feel we need a center forward. I still think we need, someone to help us finish in that final third. Where we're struggling the most is really finishing in that final third, but also our goalkeeper, Leno, like, playing up from the back, not covering your box. There's just some flaws in him. And I'm not saying he's an awful keeper, but I like that healthy competition between Leno and Aaron Ramsdale. Now, Ramsdale is a goalkeeper that was relegated 3 times, but at Arsenal, he has kept clean sheets consistently and showing us that he's calm, collected, and, communicates well with the players in front of him. When they're not showing up, he will yell at you to pick up the slack. And that's what we need. That's the simple things of a goalkeeper that sometimes we fail to see in Leno.
I'm delighted that Leno was dropped, because I think he's his own biggest fan. Like, I don't see him being that good, to be honest with you. And there's a lot of mistakes in him. And I think there's a reason why he's dropped as well. There's rumors coming out that he's saying that, he's going to leave when his contract expires.
Yeah, I've heard about that too.
So that could be why we splashed out, like what people were saying, crazy money over 20 million on
On
Ramsdale.
Aaron Ramsdale.
And he has been good so far. He hasn't really been tested that much. But what I've seen of him, and he seems
has
to be a
very
leader.
good footwork so far. And I
Yeah.
think the only thing he hasn't been tested so much was shot stopping wise. We haven't seen him do much of that for Arsenal. And hopefully, tomorrow, Sunday, I would love to see him, but I just don't know. I don't know whether Arteta is going to do it or whether he's going to put Leno in. Now, Leno, I'm not trying to be overly criticizing him, but the same thing, there's a lot of mistakes from last season that we noticed transpiring this season, not only with Leno, but also with our defenders and our midfielders.
Yeah, but when you look at the back four now, it's a lot different than it was last year.
It's a lot better now.
Yeah, we'll say back five with the keeper. Well, I don't know if we can say it's better yet because the bigger tests are to come. But now
the bigger clubs, yeah.
Yeah, but now, I'm hoping we can push on, and probably Tottenham are there for the taking as well on Sunday. If our fans get behind the team and we just go for it, we can absolutely beat them.
That's the thing I was going to say was a lot of people are kind of underestimating, Spurs are shit. They're really in the mud. They're low on confidence. But this is a North London derby. Form kind of goes out the window, and it's more on who's going to put everything 110% on the pitch. And I think with Arsenal so far in our Premier League games, we've seen a lot of individual brilliance, but we haven't really seen the team come together as a cohesive unit. And we really need to bring that unity and that dynamic in the squad going into that game on Sunday. And like you said, the fans really need to get by the squad, whoever is on that team sheet, whether it be Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey pivot. Honestly, at the end of the day, when they're wearing that kit, we have to back them. And hopefully we get the much needed 3 points because we need to pick up the slack.
Yeah, Thomas Partey is another one we'll just touch on there as well, because he was a guy that was absolutely flawless at Atletico Madrid. He was never injured, but then he got the old Arsenal curse when he came to Arsenal. And the guy hasn't been able to string a decent amount of games together. Now, I believe he said he wanted to play against Wimbledon for 60 minutes to build that fitness up.
Build fitness, yeah. We should have wrapped him in cotton wool while he was playing, but I'm glad they took him off in that 60 minutes time. He got the match fitness and he did really well. He's the anchor of that midfield. Another mention I would give is to Gabriel Magalhaes. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right, but them two are really, really strong players and really bring out the team tempo. Thomas Partey is the type of player where if you're not at the tempo and the pace he is, you will be drawn out and you need to pick up the slack and get on with the tempo, especially with teams that like to press and play high line attacking football. We really see the difference when Thomas Partey was missing and how poor we were doing in that midfield.
In terms of the game then, where can you see this being won? What area of the pitch?
I'm actually going for a home win. I really think, we'll get the win at the end of the day, but I also don't think it's going to be easy. And although I want Aaron Ramsdale to keep another clean sheet just for bragging rights and for him to have really much confidence boost, I don't think we'll end up keeping a clean sheet. I feel like there's going to be a Javi penalty given to Spurs. Yeah. So I'm going for a 2-1 to the Arsenal.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to call. And I think, obviously, do you know what's really important in this game? First goal. And I'll tell you why. Yeah. Because we've never come from behind under this manager to win a game. And that's very worrying.
We're always second half FC for the most part. Yeah.
Even now, it happened a couple of times under Emery. We were losing and then he made a load of crazy substitutions and we'd end up winning games. But it's worrying that we haven't won a game from behind under this manager. So hopefully, if we do go behind, we can erase that Houdini as well.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I think something that's really key to mention is the timing of the substitutions. Are you going to wait till 60, 70 minutes to bring on a super sub like Bukayo Saka if he was benched or a Pepe? That's the type of impact that we need off the bench. And if you're keeping a sloppy bench on there, why bother? So it really comes down to that team sheet and that starting 11 that he picks on Sunday.
Also, one more thing. I don't think that Odegaard and Smith Rowe work in the same team, because they're both drawn to the center. I think we're better off using Pepe or Saka as opposed to one of those two on the wings. That's just my opinion.
I agree with you. And I think Pepe, I don't know. The thing with Pepe, I feel, is a lot of people aren't really treating Pepe as a third season signing. And that's one thing. Like, criticizing a player is one thing, but abusing them, of course, is unacceptable. Now, with that being said, we need to see a lot more from Pepe, it's not just the fact that we paid 72 million for him, but what's going on with him? Why is the lack of finishing there? Is it because of the team he's working with? Now, in that Wimbledon game with Lacazette playing alongside, that was a really good game for Lacazette to play alongside the youth. Something that we were worried about Lacazette, what's going on, why isn't he playing? Although he's leaving on a free next year, we need to see, our players trending up. And with Pepe, I really think this might be the season where he proves us wrong and proves us that he is a player who still has fight in him.
I think if it comes down to it, and Lacazette is obviously going next summer, I don't think we should be playing him. If Leno wants to go, I don't think we should be playing him.
Yeah.
I'd be much more comfortable by
players who want to stay and play for us. Yeah. I agree.
Before we wrap up, then I just want to ask you want to give a shout out to your YouTube channel, and have you got anything coming up for people to look out for?
Yes, thank you so much, Maurice, for having me on your show today. I really enjoyed it, and hopefully we can celebrate Arsenal win on Sunday, a much needed win. But my YouTube channel is called Miss Melina, and I do Fantasy Premier League and Arsenal tactical breakdowns, post-match reactions, and you can check me out on Twitter at Miss Melina7.
Perfect, Melina. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the game.
Come on, you Arsenal.